Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Mitch Fitz. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mitch. It is Monday morning. Not much difference for me from Sunday morning, Saturday morning, or any other morning, except, as you can see, I'm inside today. I'm inside. It's raining out there and damp. I couldn't believe it. I was really hoping for another sun in my face stream out on the patio, cigar in hand. Not to be today. Doesn't look like it either for tomorrow. God, can we get past this weather? Anyway, welcome, my friends. Welcome. Good to see you all. People are diving in here this morning. And as usual, here I am. Drink it. Drink it if you got it. Give me a minute to just enjoy this. And everybody's pouring in here on Monday morning. Let me dramatically and slowly fade the music out. Professional show business, folks. It's what I'm all about here. Entertaining you. Look who's here. Everybody's here. And especially, wait, gotta make this right. Ellen is with us this morning. Good morning, Ellen. I think we've all missed you. I know I have. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. And Ellen and I had a long phone conversation yesterday afternoon. I needed to talk to a friend after the last couple of days, and we're not going to talk about any of that today. So let's not go back there. Can we? Can we just move on? Looking at the chat here. Wow. Well, welcome everybody. Good to see you. Yes, it is raining out here this morning. It's kind of depressing out there, but it's okay. It's okay because we're here, and we're here for one reason. We're here for a dose, at least maybe the last bastion on YouTube, a dose of common sense and reality. Focus on what's really important to help each other and help us get started on this lifestyle, carnivore lifestyle. Stick to this carnivore lifestyle. Avoid the pitfalls. And most important, I want to try to help. I want to try to help everybody that's here. And that's why I do this. Sometimes it helps for me, in my own mind, to answer that question. And as you know, I'm completely open and frank with everybody about my experience being a YouTuber. And the pitfalls of what being a YouTuber does to you and does to your life. And it's so easy to lose sight of the real reason that you start these things in the first place. You get caught up in all of it. Most people do. You get caught up in celebrity. You get caught up in all the conversations, all the other YouTubers, all the live streams, all the videos, all of the clickbait, all the motives behind everybody else. And what we have, we call a community. We call this the carnivore community. But it's really not. It's really not. If you had to define it, I think in a broad term, you'd say it was the low-carb community, the ketogenic diet community. Carnivore is different. We, at least I, have nothing, zero, in common with virtually any other YouTuber in this space. I'm different. I've always known that. People have always told me, Mitch, when they made you, they broke the mold. I say, I understand. I understand. That reality that I'm different is something I have grown to accept. It has made me drop out after a lifetime of horrific disappointments, made me drop out of society in general, to stay away from people, to not have friends. I see a big orange, if you look at the thing, big orange. Super chat just went by. Spiritual Nomad. Brooke, question. My bank won't let me buy coffees the regular way. Oh, man. I don't understand why not. I think you can use PayPal or credit card or anything for that. But thank you for the super chat. Thank you so much, Brooke. You know, I always appreciate your support and the support of so many of you who do value this little soiree into common sense and reality every morning. For me, I spent the last couple of days, and I have to thank Ellen for helping refocus me a little bit, because she is my consigliere. For those of you Godfather fans, you know what that means. Over the period of time I've been doing this, even though I've never met her in person, I consider her perhaps my best friend on the planet Earth. She gets me. Not only does she get me, but I get her too. Our conversation yesterday was amazing because there wasn't a thing that we talked about everything going on in the carnivore community, that the two of us didn't see from exactly the same angle. The same angle. We see the how do I want to put this? We see the quest for fame and fortune on YouTube. We see the clickbait. We see the motives behind the guests that show up on these live streams. And we both agreed that no matter how you slice it, most of the people on YouTube today are good people. They have lofty goals and good intentions, but they're trying to sell something. That is the reason YouTubers are YouTubers. And it's the reason that I'm ashamed to call myself a YouTuber. I know that sounds strange. I am not and don't want to be a YouTuber, my friends. I've told you in the past many times that every morning I wake up and I say, why the hell am I doing this? I know why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I discovered the greatest secret ever discovered by humankind to actually fix humanity. I'm not arrogant enough to claim that I'm fixing humanity. In fact, I'm humble enough to say I have no power whatsoever to go against the machine of corruption, greed, propaganda, special interests that are out there to make sure that I never get far enough with my message to rock their boat. That's a sad fact. That's a sad fact. Another sad fact is nobody, virtually nobody, has taken any cues from me. I come on here every day and I scream the root of the problem is carb addiction. It is responsible for everything. It is the reason we can't fix anything. So either I'm wrong or everybody else is so addicted to these things they can't see the forest for the trees. And that's why I'm so different. I'm so different. My whole world, my whole view of virtually everything in every field, I don't care if it's health, I don't care if it's politics, I don't care if it's drones, I don't care what it is. My whole world rests on a base of reality and common sense. My reality goes back billions of years. My views of reality, my understanding of where it all came from, how it got here, how we as a species evolved, why we behave the way we do, why we're subject to these addictions. And this is not new for me to think this way. I've been thinking this way my whole life. As a child, I was thinking this way. I would say to people, it doesn't make sense. What you're saying makes no sense. It can't possibly be the way you tell me it is. What you're telling me is just a story, a narrative, a version that fits your agenda to help propel you to wealth, fame, and fortune. It's bullshit. It cannot be the way you say it is. And over a lifetime, I have withdrawn further and further from the bullshit peddlers, the storytellers, the narrative writers, and become more and more of a hermit, but with each passing year, more and more convinced. Even though I try to shake my own theories, I try to find reasons why I'm wrong. That's what science is all about. I haven't been able to change my mind. Not from 24 years ago or 23 years ago when I wrote that book. Everything in that book, I still believe is true because I believed it was true then. Did it do any good? No, nobody cared. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. So here I am. Here I am in front of my friends, people that must assign some credibility to me and my story. And I hide nothing from you guys. And I've just decided I don't want to be the typical YouTuber anymore. I don't want to worry about how many views I get. I don't want to worry about whether everybody in the community is saying, wow, that old guy carnivore, he's smart. I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to be a star. I get sucked into that every once in a while. I got sucked into it a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, made me sick. Excuse me. And I just want to get this out this morning. Nothing's going to change. Don't worry. I'm going nowhere. And I'm going nowhere by design. I don't want to go anywhere on YouTube. I don't want to be a big star. I don't want to make a fortune on YouTube. I want to make some cigar and coffee money. That's about it. And that's about what I'm making, and it's fine with me. I want to be true to my beliefs. I want to be true to my ethics. I want to be true to honesty. I want to be true to transparency. And I want to help when I can. I want this to be a zero bullshit safe space for all of us. And if for some reason it happens to catch on and the numbers grow and more people come in, I hope they're the kind of people that know why they're here, because I think all of you do. As I see the names scroll by in the chat, I think you all know why you're here. Maybe you actually sense the fact that there's no bullshit here. There's honesty. There's integrity here. There's courtesy here. There's decorum here. There's things that our chat is supposed to be for, and things it's not. And that's just common courtesy. And all I can do is tell you the rules that I live by. And I just expect no less from any of the people that come to my house and my channel. I just expect the same courtesy that I give. I expect it on the highway when I'm driving. I get out of people's way. They don't ever get out of my way. I'm polite to people. I don't ever try to hurt anybody. I go out of my way not to hurt people. Those people through the course of my life have stolen from me everything I've ever accomplished. A little sore point about that. I don't go on other people's YouTube channels and go into their chat and tell them that they need to come to my channel. I would never do that. That is so discourteous to glom on to another person who's doing his thing and trying to help to promote my thing. I can't do it. I won't do it. I don't go into chats on other live streams. I don't leave comments on other people's videos. I may vehemently disagree with what they say. It's not my place to criticize them. It's your place as a thinking human being with common sense to weigh what you hear everywhere. And you decide what you want to believe, what makes sense. There are too few people in this world anymore that actually have logical common sense. Maybe it's our brains are just so damaged they don't work right. Our computers are short-circuiting. I think that's a major source of the problem. I know mine isn't. Mine is working. Mine is working. But what I don't want, and I don't need in my life, not after the life I've been through, is conflict. I don't need to get emails every day telling me, so-and-so said so-and-so about you on so-and-so's live stream. I don't care. I don't care. Say whatever you want about me. Somebody in my chat yesterday called me a bully. I'm the furthest thing from a bully. I have been the bullied all my life. My whole perspective comes from that of the fat little kid that's been pushed around all his life and only tries to do the best he can. How ironic. How ironic. Spiritual Nomad Brooke says, Mitch, you keep it real. You're honest, and that shows. That's what drew me to your channel. I may not agree on the science history, but that's okay. Yes, thank you, Brooke. Everybody's got their ideology. So many people have their religion. I don't ever want to take that away from anybody, but I can only talk I'll call it a religion because I guess it is. It's called realism. You know, we have Catholicism, we have Judaism. Well, my religion is realism. And that's where I live. And you can still benefit, even though we may disagree on things, if the things I say to you about the causes of your addiction and the reason why not only can't you stick to this thing, but why it'll never change the reality of how our world works. Look at the corruption these days that's being exposed in every aspect of every government everywhere in the world. Look at the special interests. And most importantly, my friends, most importantly, look at how the corrupt are not sitting still for this, not for a minute. They are using every scheme, every dirty trick, every crooked judge, everybody on the take is scrambling to throw monkey wrenches in the works of what we just voted for, and that is to rid our country of the corruption, to clean house. Unfortunately, in my opinion, that's all I have is my opinion, we don't need to clean this house. We need to incinerate this house. Burn it to the ground, bulldoze the soil, and start building from scratch. You can't do that without the destruction involved, and that destruction is not going to be good for anybody. It's going to be no fixing this with a lot of pain, and you see that every day in the headlines. I see the headlines this morning that all these government useless, on the take, self-serving, self-aggrandizing government employees that have been stealing our money for nothing, only to get in our way and make our lives miserable. They're poor babies. They're complaining about the hardships that they're going to face because they're losing their job. Get a real job so that I don't have to take what little money I manage to scrape together and pay taxes so that you can live in the richest county in the world in Northern Virginia and have a triple gold-plated retirement and health plan because you have cemented yourself into a government job. What we're going through now is necessary, and I need to go through it in my own life and my own YouTube channel on a tiny little basis. So today I declare my independence, my friends. I am no longer a YouTuber. At least not the typical YouTuber. I'm more like a podcaster now. I've been gravitating towards this. I get so tired of filming and editing and making videos and praying that they're going to get some views, and then they get a few views, and then YouTube deems them to be misinformation somehow or some reason. But it goes nowhere. It goes nowhere. I watch my subscriber count go up 100, down 100, up 100, down 100, up 100, down, but it stays pretty much the same now. Just under 40,000. 39,000 of those people have long since forgotten about me anyway. My videos don't show up in their feeds anymore. I see the same 1,000 people. That's it. Those are my followers, about 1,000. People who either watch my live streams or watch my replays. And every once in a blue moon, one of my videos will go to 3,000, 4,000 views. But that's about it. Because this genre of carnivore is all over the place. Too many so-called experts. If you remember my little speech up there on the stage a couple weeks ago, they put me on a panel of experts. I thought that was the funniest thing that ever happened to me. I didn't even know what to say. They said, talk for 5 minutes. So I did. I was kind of proud of what I said because I thought it was raw and true and not self-aggrandizing. Because I don't want to be what people consider the final authority, the world's smartest man. I don't want people to look at me that way. I don't want fame. I've had fame in my life. I've had tons of money. And the problem with fame and having tons of money is you become a target for everybody that wants to take it away from you. And they did. Consistently. Everything I've ever accomplished, everything I've ever invented, every brilliant idea I had for business was stolen from me because people wanted what I had. I find it much easier and more relaxing now to have nothing. And I have nothing. I have a double wide trailer I live in. I drive a fairly nice car. I can afford that. I don't have any investments. I don't have any retirement. I have YouTube and a little computer work that I do to supplement my Social Security. That's what I got. And you know, I'm happier than I've ever been in my life because people aren't chasing me for it. I don't want to be a star. I don't want to attract attention. I just want to talk common sense and help people. And that's where I'm going forward. I've committed myself to be here every morning for our little group. And this is where you'll find me. Here. Every morning. Unless something comes up. And it doesn't usually. But I'll be here every morning. I'll try to entertain you all. With a little happy music. A little coffee drinking. Maybe I can make you laugh sometimes. And I'll answer your questions. I'll answer your questions about why I think you're having a problem if you will ask me. So do that. Ask me questions. And I do the best I can to get through these things. Problem is, I can't answer or interact with everybody while I'm trying to talk. But I still want to encourage conversation between you guys. I really do. I want to encourage you to share your ideas as well. And you guys are doing great, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, enough happy music. Let me declare a winner from last night, the 81 Mac. Congratulations, my friend. You were the first. You were the first. And Nikki followed shortly. Silver medal and a bronze went to Terry Sue. I love you guys. I love your enthusiasm, how important it is for you to jump right on this. That's great. That's great. And Mandy Beddoes says hi. Hi to me. Hi to everybody. Mandy's Bronson waiting. Hi, guys from the UK. Yeah. Terry Sue, you got a great sense of humor, Terry Sue. Are we Special Mitch Olympics now? It seems that way, doesn't it? Operative word is special. I always loved being called special. I would always try to make some self-deprecating joke about being special, about how I'm so special they won't let me out without a helmet. That's a joke. Even though there were times I believed it. Aunt B says hi. Aunt B in the top 5. Aunt B figures number 4. Aunt B says someone needs to hit the thumbs up button. Thank you very much. I don't put any importance in those things. I don't put any importance in the number of chat entries, even though everybody says how important that is. You want to grow on YouTube, you have to ask people to like and subscribe to your channel every 5 minutes. You need to tell them to comment. You need to tell them to do this, to spread it around, to share it with everybody on the planet. And your YouTube channel will grow and you will become a big star. No guarantee you know anything, but you're going to be a big star nonetheless. And there's no shortage of big stars on YouTube who know nothing. But they're big stars because they are entertaining in a way. Not talking about anybody in particular. Any of my fellow YouTubers here in the carnivore space. All I know is one thing, my friends. I have withdrawn from that so-called community. I have one community that I care about, and that's Morning Coffee with Mitch. I'd even thought of changing my channel name from OldGuyCarnivore to Morning Coffee with Mitch, and just do this. I'll maybe put out a video if something really important comes across my mind that I think would be something to film and edit a video on. But I have 550 videos in my library right now. There's nothing I can say that I haven't said before. The only advantage of making a new video is YouTube will push it out there. And maybe I'll have some people who never saw me before discover me. I don't care about that anymore. I've played that game on YouTube for 6 years now. Almost 7 years. 2018. I went through the whole drone channel thing while the government destroyed the entire hobby of drones. And I became public enemy number 1 because I was talking about drones and being accused of spying on this person's wife in their swimming pool. When that's so absurd. That's so absurd as to be crazy. Oh, yeah. And then I took some time off when I hurt my head to recuperate. That was a year and a half. And during that time, I became carnivore and developed my own theories about how this might work and put them into practice, and I'll be damned, they worked. And that became my disclaimer. And my disclaimer is very simple. I am not an expert. In that little speech I gave in Tampa, I said, I'm not an expert. I'm a comedian. And that was true. I don't consider myself an expert. How could I be? I have only my theories that I've put into practice for myself. They solved a lifelong problem, and I thought, why don't I just share that? And then you get caught up in the YouTube thing, and you just lose sight of the goal. And the goal is, I have one thing to talk about. I'm convinced it is the thing that nobody's talking about. And everybody else that's talking about everything else is basically just spinning wheels, trying to be a bigger YouTuber, a more popular YouTuber. And I quit. I am out of that game. I do not want to associate myself, and I've met some great people. I am not a part of anybody else's YouTube world anymore. I will not do interviews. I will not be interviewed. I will not be used to help somebody else promote themselves or their channel, their fame on YouTube. I won't do it. I don't want to do it. That's not why I'm here, and I don't want that from them for myself. I will do my thing, and we'll do our thing. And we'll get back to the basics of me not having to declare my intentions every day. My intentions are to help you guys. You can thank me by giving me a tip. Doesn't have to be a big tip. Cup of coffee. That's where whatever income I make from YouTube is going to have to come from. Maybe a little bit of buying stuff off my Amazon links. I don't care. I hardly even ever look at that anymore. The amount of money is inconsequential, pocket change, not commensurate with the dedication that I have and the desire to actually effect some change, no matter how small, in this misled world that we have of bullshit and propaganda everywhere in everything. Call me the ultimate cynic if you must. But I know that what I talk about works because it's working. It's working. It's put me in a position of health and well-being I've never had in my lifetime. Totally out of the grasp of the siren song of the addictive foods, the advertising, the triggers, the visuals, the social life, everything that revolves around us consuming poison to feed the machine of big pharma and big food and big agriculture and all of the corrupt people involved. Shame on all of them. They have killed your family and they're killing you. I am out of that game. And I can only tell people how I did it. And that's my disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I can't tell you how to cure your individual medical condition. And shame on anybody on YouTube that does that in this forum. They have no idea the liability they are opening themselves up to, especially those who have so much to lose. I can't be that careless. I can't be that careless as to let information keep being propagated in my chats that I'm legally responsible for. I cannot and will not put up with that. What little I have would have to go to pay lawyers when somebody says, oh, I heard this advice on Mitch's channel and I understand he's got a little something, so let's file a lawsuit against him. It's crazy. It's crazy. Kathy says, question. This just went in the chat. Have you watched researcher Dr. Boros' ideas on deuterium? Comments. I don't give a shit about Dr. Boros or his thoughts on deuterium. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It's not my job to be concerned with deuterium, no more than it was the caveman's job. Eat the meat. Don't micromanage. Keep it simple. Get the right nutrition and let your physiology take care of it. Do not try to keep finding the new magic supplement or the new magic thing that people are using to get clicks on YouTube and sell you products. Let nature take care of you. That's where your best shot lies. What next? I need to worry about deuterium? No. Kathy, no. I don't care. There's always going to be somebody coming up with something that is going to, the next magic fix. I'm trying to steer us away from that kind of shit, to keep it simple, to live your life. I've reclaimed my life back from YouTube. When I get done with this morning live stream, as far as I'm concerned, YouTube does not exist anymore until tomorrow morning. I will check my emails, and I get plenty of them, and respond. But I want to have a life, and YouTube took my life away from me for the past year and a half. And I have not been a happy camper because of it. So today is my Independence Day. I'm declaring my Declaration of Independence from being a YouTuber. I'm here to help you guys. I appreciate the fact that you come in here and you put some faith in me and my intelligence. And even though I know I'm an intelligent guy, much smarter than most as far as I'm concerned, I have no ego about it. I'm a humble guy. Always have been. I don't think I'm any better than anybody else. I think I was just born with a brain that works a certain way. It's a no bullshit brain. Everything has to click. Everything has to make sense. Am I ever wrong? Of course I'm wrong. Maybe deuterium is the greatest thing since sliced bread. At any rate, I'm not going to go through, God, I always use up so much time. But I don't care. I'm here. This is what I'm doing. This is my YouTube thing now. Morning Coffee with Mitch. I got an invitation from Boyd Lamb yesterday to join a new Discord group that he formed. Is he going to quit YouTube and go to Rumble? No, James, I can't quit YouTube. There's no audience on Rumble. They're just not there. They don't have people. They have politics. I have 5 people. I have No Slow, Mike Seeley Jr. and Sr. and Rod Weeder in the chat over on Rumble, and 10 people watching. And those same people are probably watching on YouTube. Unfortunately, YouTube is what we have. But I'll continue to simultaneously broadcast my morning live stream to Rumble. And maybe in years, it'll pick up. I also hold out hopes that someday some of this stuff that's going on in our government now, this Make America Healthy Again, will change the minds of these liberal vegan kids that are running YouTube and responsible for writing these algorithms that deem anything that we say on a carnivore or keto channel as misinformation and detrimental to what the World Health Organization is trying to jam down our throats. Those crooked-ass globalists, the people that brought us the pandemic, the people that are bringing us the bird flu now and making it so we can't afford eggs. When are we going to wake up and stop letting them get away with this shit? Hopefully, some change is on the horizon at the level of the government when it comes to health and nutrition. We have got a long way to go. We've got a lot of house to burn down first before we will be able to clear the land and start building the new house, which is why My mission is not to save the world anymore. My mission is not to heal humanity. That's a little arrogant, don't you think? I think it is. My mission is to encourage and motivate 157 people that are watching me now, and maybe up to 1,000 people by the time the count is done at the end of the day, who happen on this live stream and watch the replay. My mission is to tell you how I did it so you can be like Mitch if you want. Because, trust me, I had all the same problems that you have. And that's all I can offer. I cannot save the world. I don't even want to anymore. The world is going to do what the world's going to do. I can only look out for myself and my family, and you, my friends, have become my family. And that maybe you don't have any idea how important that is to me, but that makes me look forward to being with you every morning. So let me say a blanket hello to everybody else that's in here. It's not important who was the first one in here. The only important question from Tuka, my friend, who gave me a little super chat this morning. Thank you, Tuka. How are you today, boss? I think I just answered that. I'm actually doing great. I'm doing great. Thank you. Thank you for caring. And thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's very meaningful, Tuka. Means a lot to me. And Ellen is chatting away, and you have no idea how good that is. How much I appreciate it. And how much I miss you when you're not here, Ellen. But you and I both know that I would never make demands on your time, and I know that you have your life. But what I found out yesterday was something I didn't know. And that was, Ellen has just gotten over the same crud that I have. Since I've never met Ellen, I can't be responsible for giving it to her. But she's been fighting this thing for a couple of weeks, too. And we talked about how miserable that was. Mine is getting better. You notice the amount of coughing and wheezing and nose blowing is decreasing every day, which is a good sign. And I'm feeling better, but I'm still dragging. It just hangs on, just hangs on. I was talking, I wanted to mention this. While I'm perusing through here. Oh, Jason H. says good morning, and his 5th anniversary in the private community. Thank you. And I appreciate those of you in the private community. And even though I never talk about it or promote it or tell you to join or any of that stuff, it's a great group of people. And I appreciate the support. But I'm going to go through this, and I just wanted to say that I got a thing, Boyd Lamb, that an invitation to become part of a generically named carnivore community, kind of a chat room, a Discord server. And I want to thank Boyd for that invitation, and I'm going to respectfully decline. When I'm done with this 11:30, and this live stream at 11:30 every morning, I do not want to think about YouTube, carnivore, viewers, chatting, or anything. I want to have my life. I am reclaiming half of my life back. Today is my Independence Day. I don't want to watch everybody else's YouTube videos. I've seen it all before. I disagree with 95% of all of it. They're all missing the football, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody's talking about the real problem and the real reason why. All of this crap that people keep coming up with will never fix a damn thing. And if that makes me a pessimist, come back in 50 years and tell me if I wasn't right. You can't legislate this stuff. You can't legislate the food companies to change what they do. You can try to legislate the food companies. They make too much money. They will scream like stuck pigs. They will throw every obstacle in the way of that legislation. They will find every corrupt judge to pay off. They will delay it in the courts for 20 years. And by that time, the entire political landscape will have changed. The corrupt will have won. And through more bullshit and more propaganda, we will be worse off than we are today. Look at the war on drugs. Look at the efforts against alcoholism or any other addiction. You cannot keep an addict from having his drugs, not by law, common sense, or reality. You can't fix addiction once it happens. You can only put it in remission by a certain series of things that you do, and that's what I talk about here. I have learned the secret, figured it out. Nobody else told me. It's my solution. I don't want other people taking credit for my solutions. I'd love for them to spread it around. That's fine. Just like I do with Ken Berry. Whenever I say anything on my channel that I've heard comes from Ken Berry, I attribute him and say, Ken Berry said this. That's just common decency and honesty. Morning, Lewis L. How you doing? All right, I'm looking for questions. I know there's not a lot of questions because I have just been ranting here this morning, but it's a good rant. It's a good rant, and I'm happy. I am happy. I think I like this new attitude that I have, and I hope you like it too. And Terry Girl bought me a coffee. Thank you so much, Terry. Terry bought me 3 coffees. Thank you 3 times. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Terry. Happy Monday, Mitch, she says. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And also, while I'm in the process of thanking you, thank any of you and all of you that took the time yesterday after the couple days that I had of controversy to write me such supportive emails and buy me some coffees with supportive messages, seeing the same things that I saw. Thank you. That meant a lot. That meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to me. So it's a new day. It's a new day, and we're just going to keep going on. We're just going to keep going on. Here's that super chat from Brooke. Thank you so much, Brooke. Just want to show that on the screen. I appreciate it. So how far behind am I? Oh, I am way the hell behind, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to look for some questions. Here we go. Here's something with a Q. Safir Sasarovic, I think. Greetings from Bosnia, Europe. You were in Mexico before. Welcome. Welcome. I love it. Love to see people from everywhere. And to the 157 people. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for that. This is DS111 says, be an old tuber, Mitch. Yeah, that's what I am. That's one thing I am, is old. I am kind of like the Methuselah of the carnivore community. And as much as I admire some of the other carnivore YouTubers and the work that they're doing and the dedication they have and the money they put into this, as much as I admire these guys, I cannot be involved anymore. I can't be. I have to do my own thing. I can take the credit for it that way or the blame. And I'm responsible enough to do that. But what happens on this channel has to be what comes from me. I am legally responsible for anything put out on this channel. And we are treading in very shark-infested waters, my friends. And if anyone on YouTube in this space doesn't realize that, they've never had happen to them in life what I've had happen to me, or dealt with the lawyers that I've had coming after me for no reason other than to steal my money. I don't wish that on anybody. That's why I have such disdain. That's why I can hardly watch the morning news and watch these thieving whores advertise on TV, these trial lawyers trying to drum up lawsuits against people, in most cases, who are innocent and have their lives ruined by the attack from these lawyers to get their 30% of whatever settlement they can extort the insurance company out of. You don't think I'm right? You see if you can get one of these guys to work for you when there's no deep pocket insurance companies at the other end of this lawsuit. When they have to go after somebody and try to take their house, they're not going to work that hard. No, it's an extortion racket. That's the problem with having been around and seen so much. Nobody pulls the wool over your eyes anymore. Carnivore Dan, one of the great truths of the world. Very astute of you, Dan. Addicts don't want to admit it. Of course not. Did you ever ask an alcoholic if he's an alcoholic? I'm not an alcoholic. I can quit anytime I want to. Oh, why don't you quit? Well, maybe I don't want to. How many people have I tried to turn on to carnivore unsuccessfully and frustratingly? How many people have I tried to turn on to carnivore who told me, I'm strong? When I put my mind to something, I do it. And I go, well, it's not easy. Well, I can do it. I'm going to do it. You wait and see. 3 days later, I find him at the pool with a bag of Doritos and a beer. What happened? I didn't want to do it. Okay. Where's all that strength I heard so much about? That strength is useless in the face of an addiction. Anyone who thinks they have any willpower whatsoever is deluding themselves. But they get all their pleasure from these foods. Surely there's got to be a way I can continue to get all that pleasure from these foods and yet still reap the benefits of the carnivore lifestyle. Oh, I got some people buying me coffees. Thank you. And I haven't even posted the link yet. Thank you. Thank you so much. We have. Denise Kink. Denise, thank you. Bought me a coffee. Glad you are feeling good today. I'm feeling great today. I'm having a ball. I'm going to have a great day after this. I'm not going to worry about YouTube. I'll take a glance later and see if anybody put any comments that I should answer. I'll answer some emails when I get them. But I am not going to watch the same shit that I've been watching for years on carnivore or keto YouTubers. I don't even want to see that crap in my feed anymore. Do I think that's going to put me behind in the latest and greatest discoveries about whether I need to worry about deuterium or not? No, I don't want to know. I want to be alive, healthy, and happy, and not overly consumed with measuring things, numbers, worrying about what they mean according to who. I want to just eat the right stuff, live clean, move around a little. And however long it lasts, it's going to last, because none of us are immortal. None of us are immune to all disease, especially these days when they just keep inventing these new things in secret labs next to wet markets in China, funded by evil James Bond type villains that just happen to hold high positions in our government and have become fabulously wealthy as civil servants. surely you got to see something doesn't sit right with that picture. Any of them going to jail yet? No. They've all been granted immunity. Yes, sir. Thank you, government. Thank you, crooks. Especially thank you now that tax day is coming. Don't get me started about that. So I'm going to look for some questions. Thank you all for hanging in there with me today. And Ellen is just chatting up a star. Thank you, Ellen. Thank you, Ellen. I'm telling you, there are very few people that I would actually say in this world that if they say it, they're speaking for me. And Ellen has that endorsement from me. She really does. That's why I made her a moderator on this channel in the first place. She happens to have a degree in biochemistry. She knows the stuff. She may know more about some of that stuff than I do, but she's a critical thinker. A brilliant woman. Don't let it go to your head there, Ellen. And a good person. A good person. Let's see. Okay, I'm making some headway. I'm only like 40 minutes behind in the chat. Here's a question. Retired Rick says, how's the plumbing, Mitch? Done finally? No, of course not. What folly to think that it may actually be done. My plumber was in the hospital, evidently. I didn't find out until the day after he was supposed to be here to finish. When he texted me and said, they just released me from the hospital. I had a kidney infection. See you next weekend. So, it's put off another week, Rick. Thanks for caring. Every time anybody starts a job for me, it becomes the job that never gets done because everybody else has got problems except Mitch. My problems never seem to matter. Mitch should do a small clip of Manic Monday on the Monday morning show when appropriate, Terry Sue says. Yeah, Manic Monday. I love it. I love it. I love it. And the one thing I say, you can never, ever doubt that it doesn't come from my heart. When I say, I love you guys. I love you guys. I know that many of you are members of all these other communities too. And I would only hope that when you're in these other communities, you'll stick up for me and my morals and my principles of wanting to do the right thing, of not wanting to spread inadequate information as fact. Just stick up for me because they attack me. I know they do. I know they do. Don't you think I don't know about every time the subject of me comes up in anybody's chat anywhere? Our little community is spread out there. I have people that really do care about me and want me to know these things. I'd almost wish they wouldn't tell me. I know that it happens. I know people want to portray me as a bad guy, as evil, as a bully. Honestly, I want nothing for myself. Buy me a coffee now and then. That's all I ask for. Treat me no worse than you treat the guy who carries your bag to your hotel room or brings your car from the parking lot or makes you a coffee at Starbucks. I think I do more for you, at least I hope I do, than any of them. I just want to be on a par with being valued, and the only way to show that, you can say thank you, and if you don't have any money, just say thank you. I appreciate that. I don't want money from people that can't afford it. But that says thank you. Nothing says thank you like a tip. That's why they have these things. And generally, the people working for those tips don't have big incomes elsewhere. who we have here? Everybody's chatting away. Everybody's chatting away. I want to try to find an actual question. I didn't mean to be so dismissive about the Kathy, about your question about the deuterium. I just kind of go along with Kiltsy in that regard. Why would I pay any attention to any of these things when the human animal has been alive for millions of years without worrying about it? And I always default to that. How did we ever get here without worrying about deuterium? It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter who or how credible the big-time YouTuber that puts it out there, the Andrew Huberman, Westman, Ken Berry. I don't care who it is. The newest, greatest discovery. 20,000 years ago, somehow our species survived without it. Survived much better than we're surviving today. Got to be some wisdom in there. Got to be some wisdom. Dawn Hoover says, can hair get thicker? I assume it can. I'm not a beautician, but I know that I've seen it happen. Hair thins, hair thickens. It's all built out of protein and other things, and yeah, I suppose it can. Can I tell you that definitively from a researched point of view? No. It would be fun to research it, though. I imagine it also can be thickened by external things, like hair conditioner, which gets absorbed in the hair and kind of maybe blows it up a little bit. Kind of like Botox, you know. That's an interesting question, though, kind of out of left field. This is great, Terry Sue. Terry Sue says, you don't have to encourage our conversation. We've created our own weird chat as we listen. And that's great to hear. And the operative word is I like to think people are at least listening to what I say, that I'm not just superfluous here, not just providing a platform. Tuka, another three. Is that Lira? Wow, thank you, Tuka. Did you say anything in that, or did you just, no, just a super sticker. Thank you so much, my friend. Very, very much appreciated. Thank you. I see Gary Noslow's here. Hiya, Gary. How you doing? Thomas, Target Prime Rib, how you doing? Haven't said hi to you. Melissa Campbell's here. Good morning, Mitch and everyone. Jackie W., realtor in Indiana. Random thing I learned. My latest cat I found out by the barn, I named her Meow because of her meowing. Cool. Cool. The Peach Baron. How are you? How are you? Those QQQs do pop out as I scroll quickly through the chat. So, I try to read what goes by. And sometime, like I was accused of yesterday, maybe I do take a chat a little out of context because I can't follow that closely. I can't be the host and the entertainer, the comedian, and all that other stuff, and read every word of everybody's conversation with each other. And yet I encourage the hell out of that. Lad is here. How you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you here this morning. Here, see, 4Qs really stands out. Have you watched research? No, I already taught that one when it came by the first time. No, I haven't. I don't have time nor the inclination to watch anybody's shit anymore about anything other than what I have discovered and believe is helpful to me and hopefully helpful to you. And I'll leave it to you. I'll leave it to all of you to watch all of those other channels and encourage you to do so until you have come up in your own mind with where you've convinced yourself that what you now know is all you need to know. And judge it against a test. Did this help my ancestors survive 20, 30, 50,000 years ago? And if the answer to that is it couldn't possibly have, because there was no YouTube, there was no Dr. Boros talking about the benefits of deuterium. The deuterium back in those days was still there. It took care of itself, and the proof of that is your existence today. That's the simple logic of it. We can overcomplicate this all we want. We can make it so complicated that nobody can keep up with it. No matter how many machines you wire yourself to monitor how many numbers, thousands of times every second, and try to react and adjust things accordingly, you are only going to screw up the most fabulous chemistry that has ever evolved in this universe, and that is human physiology. We think we know a lot. We haven't even scratched the surface yet. We don't need to know any of it. We need to trust it. We need to have faith in it. We need to accept the fact that it evolved over millions of years of trial and error. That's how it got to be what it is today. And it's still evolving every day and changing every day as the conditions in which we live change around us. We adapt to those things. We change. And those of us whose changes aren't good enough, our branch of the evolutionary tree has ended. We're done. And that will happen to, assuredly, almost everybody that's alive today. Will be the end of the line at some point in the near future for their family. And maybe there'll be one or two humans whose lineage will go on to continually populate the earth for the next 100,000 years if we make it that long. And they won't be anything like us. But they will be the winners of nature's lottery. And an understanding, and I hate to say this because it just pisses off the religious people, and I don't want to piss off the religious people or start an argument with them. But the most important thing anybody can do if they really want to understand why I say the things I do is to gain an incredibly intricate understanding of what evolution is and how it works. Because all of the answers lie there. If you stop thinking in terms of 1,000 years or 2,000 years and start thinking in terms of billions of years when you think about life and how we actually got here and what actually had to happen for everything today to be like it is. It's incredible. It's incredible. And B says, question Mitch, OldGuyCarnivore. I got to see you on a clip in Dr. Kiltz's channel. You offered great advice. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was from that meeting, the meetup. That probably will be the first and last time you see me on a panel answering questions in anybody else's deal. I'm maybe I'll let somebody talk me into that someday down the road, but I'm just not traveling. I'm not doing it. I'm not joining discussion groups. I'm dropping out. I'm dropping out of the carnivore world and all the noise in it, except for morning coffee with Mitch and an occasional video now and then. I'm reclaiming my life back. I'm reclaiming my life back from being a full-time YouTuber and all of the frustrations, disappointments involved in that. Thanks for the question. And thank you for the compliment. I appreciate it. I actually thought I was brilliant, not being an expert and all. DS111. Says my LDL is 508, total 608. The PA wants me to come in for the medication right away. He's also unilaterally sending a referral to a cardiologist. Calm it down, I told him. Yes, and it's not my place, and that's something I would never do. I would never tell you to ignore your doctor's advice. I would tell you that I ignore my doctor's advice, and that's as far as I will go. I will never tell you, don't take a statin. I will never, those words will never come out of my lips. I would only say, I will never take a statin. That's the difference between trying to be responsible. Do no potential harm. Why is it that I follow the Hippocratic Oath closer than any doctor that's ever taken it? I do not want to do any harm. I only tell you my opinion and my thoughts. And nobody can sue me for having an opinion, at least not yet. They're doing it in Germany now. They're raiding people for thought crimes. How far away are we in this country? How close did we come in this last election to worrying about having stormtroopers on our front door because we are thinking something that disagrees with their utopian nightmare? Mama Bear. One thing confusing is how the experts are saying we do constantly slather ourselves with sunscreen. Yeah, they're experts. Everybody's an expert. You know what the definition of an expert is? A drip under pressure. Any traveling salesman 50 miles or more from home is an expert. Everybody's a friggin' expert. Everybody's a talking head. Everybody's on the news. Everybody's an expert in everything. And they're all wrong. Or on the take somewhere. There are a few people that have it figured out. Like me. I have it all figured out. And I'll share it with people who listen, but I'm not going on out of my way to have people want to attack me for my beliefs that don't agree with their beliefs. It's a strange world, my friends. It's a strange world, and I am scrolling through the chat looking for more questions, and so far, this has been a great live stream. Thank you. Thank you all for participating in it. Ellen, thanks so much for being here, sweetie. Wow. Glenn Ish, happy birthday, Ellen says. Happy birthday, Glenn. Good to see you. DS111. I just read a chat that went by, caused a chuckle. That's great. That's great. Everybody's encouraging Tuca for some reason. Rick is letting his thoughts known about Kiltsy. I love Kiltsy. I love him as a human being. It's not my place to advise him on the direction he takes in anything. He's a very successful man and a good man with a big heart. And he sincerely does want to solve these problems and heal humanity. And I will not ever, ever say a bad word about such a fine human being, even if sometimes I disagree with the path some people take. I'm not going to, certainly not going to challenge it. Everybody has the right to believe what they want to believe. It's not my place or anybody else's place to tell you what you have to believe. We can only make suggestions, tell you our opinions, and the reason why. And that reason why is what I try to do. I don't just make statements to you people. I don't say addiction is the most important and biggest problem we have. I try to tell you why, where it came from, why we're so addicted, the roots of that addiction that go back millions of years, the reason why we have no control over those cravings, and the reason we're in the sad state we are, and how the evil people in the world are capitalizing on those weaknesses because they understand the things I'm trying to explain about where they come from. And I've learned, until I learned all of that, I never could figure out how to attack it. And I figured that out, and that is probably the most valuable single secret in the world today. If we were to be paid for discoveries, that discovery that I made is worth more than any discovery as far as I'm concerned. Now, can I get paid for it? No. I can get a couple cups of coffee thrown at me. That's because society is brainwashed. They wouldn't see the answer if it ran them over. And Mac had one of the more important questions. Who had the 9:30 bell? Mac, I didn't look today. I was on kind of a roll, so just going to have to say congratulations to whoever it was. I don't want to roll the chat back that far right now. It is, after all, 10 minutes to 11. Wow, wow, wow. Steve Studley's here. How you doing, Steve? Good to see you this morning. Have you found the salt and the butter yet? Question. Mitch, opinion on TMG, trimethylglycine, a.k.a. I have no idea what that is, Greg. I'm sorry. I'm not an expert. What can I tell you? I never claimed to be. I don't know what that is. Trimethylglycine. Well, it's got GLY in it, which means it's got to have something to do with sugar. Betaine and I don't know what it is. Is that another magical supplement or something? Sorry, I can't help you. I've never heard of it. I don't even, actually, believe it or not, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know what all this shit is. I know enough biochemistry now to know what I need to know about how the human body works. I'm not a biochemist. I don't spend my days in classrooms learning all of this stuff that we don't even know is true or not, or what it really does. But no, I'm sorry. I can't help you with that, Greg. Thanks for asking, though. And that's one thing you'll always see me do. I will not try to act like I know something that I don't know. And there's a lot of shit I don't know, especially when it comes to all this biochemistry stuff. Maybe Ellen knows what that is. Ellen says, LOL, I know nothing. Oh, come on, Ellen. Excuse me. Well, I made it this far without some nose blowing, so things must be improving here. Still got 144 people here. Question, Mitch. You are a scholar and a gentleman. Your no BS common sense approach is why we love you, from Mark C. Thank you, Mark C. And I love you because of compliments like that. I appreciate it. Let's just consider this a no bullshit zone. Might not be a bad name for this thing. I thought about changing the name of my channel, but I won't. From OldGuyCarnivore to just Morning Coffee with Mitch. Without the word carnivore in there. I thought maybe that would stop some of the censoring. Getting the word carnivore out of it. But no, I don't want to do that. But I did think about that. I've been doing a lot of thinking about my attitude towards this. Like I told you, I do it every day. I reevaluate. Is this really worth my time and energy and passion and exposing myself to potential liability, life-ruining lawsuits and things because of somebody else's carelessness? I can't do it. Ellen. Oh, you're talking about songs. Okay. That's great. As long as you're listening to me. Thank you, Kathy. Says she's recommended me on many channels. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And Dawn Hoover says, suggestion for collagen peptides. No, I'm sorry. I know that these questions are important to you, and my suggestion for collagen peptides is to eat foods that contain collagen. Make sure you get the cartilage. Make sure you eat the fat. Make sure that you don't have to supplement the collagen peptides because they are in the food if you eat a broad enough variety. If you eat chicken, gnaw on the bones, gnaw on the cartilage. I don't supplement any additional collagen. I seem to get enough. So I would always turn to a natural source of it before I'd start buying somebody's magic elixir product. That's the answer to all of your problems. And that's pretty much going to be my stock answer to any of those questions. What about this supplement? What about that supplement? Rick says he has ducterium. As well you should, Rick. I think that's as important as having deuterium. Is there a thing called triterium? Quadterium? Inquiring minds want to know. Here's a great question. Robert Wall, what made you start carnivore? What made me start carnivore from a life of low carb? That's a good question. 2.5 years ago. A little over 2.5 years now. And I'm proud to say I have not put a plant or a carb in my mouth knowingly in that time, since that day I declared I'm doing carnivore. And that was the day I declared my freedom from plants. And associated with plants are carbs, because that's where the carbs are. And that's when I, after a lifetime of thought and trying to figure out why I was so weak, that's the problem. What's wrong with you, Mitch? You know what to do. You know you're a carb addict. You know you have no self-control. You know, no matter how strong you think you are, what promises you make to yourself, they mean nothing. Time and time again, year after year, diet after diet, up and down, up and down. I would lose the weight because I temporarily, by eating low carb, kept the cravings at bay, saw some success, saw the weight loss. But inevitably, I would reach some arbitrary goal that I had set, and I would get down to that weight, and I would say, I'm there, I'm done, no more of this ridiculous dieting. I can start eating those foods that I love again, and that, boom. We've all been there, and the weight comes back so fast it makes your head spin, and then you're just ashamed of yourself. I lost it. How come I couldn't keep it off? Because you're an addict. And finally, I hammered it into my head. I am an addict. And I started figuring out why addiction is impossible to consciously control. And I looked at not just carb addiction, but all the addictions. And I discovered that carb addiction has to be, hands down, the worst addiction, because I figured where it came from. It's the oldest addiction that living things have, is the addiction to sugar as a survival food in times of famine. That was the need for survival that started the pathway to all of these addictive tendencies. Long before there was cocaine, long before there was caffeine or nicotine, long before there was alcohol, there was sugar. And the addiction to sugar is an ancient, pre-programmed survival mechanism without which we would not be here today. At one point in time in our history, greater than 20,000 years ago, before the agricultural age, if not for carbohydrate addiction, the human race would have died out. That's an important point to remember. That validates your helplessness to fight it. It is that important. It is that which allowed our species to survive to the present day. The ability to not die from famine when there was no meat, because we had become carnivores. And all the nutrition that we needed was in meat. And the only thing we would get out of these plants was energy. A day's worth at a time, at most. And this is such an important story to understand and concept to understand in order to not blame yourself for being weak. To let yourself off the hook and say, it's not my fault that I can't resist this stuff, that I always fall off the wagon. That any diet that still allows me to have carbohydrates is doomed to fail eventually. It's not sustainable for life. And then you come to the conclusion that, well, if I don't eat plants and I don't eat carbs, what's left? And I finally came to that conclusion. And I said, I'm close enough to this. And they start talking about carnivore and just eating meat. And it finally dawned on me about 2.5 years ago, I need to just do that. I said, I'm close to it now. Why the hell do I still think I need to eat broccoli and blueberries? I don't buy into any of the bullshit about fiber and all that other crap that I need and sugar. I'm going to go carnivore, and I did it. And within 30 days, most of my cravings became manageable. And the rest is history. And 2.5 years later, I am absolutely over that shit and don't miss it and don't want it. And that's a miracle. And that's what I'm here trying to talk to people about. And I think it's important. Aunt Meg, Auntie Meg. Hiya, Meg. Have you felt the need to consume less coffee since changing your whole lifestyle? I don't really feel the need to even consume coffee. I just enjoy it. Now, maybe that's a need. Maybe I'm fooling myself. I can live without coffee. I can live without smoking cigars. But I enjoy them, and I don't think they hurt me that much. But I don't drink a lot of coffee. I don't drink anywhere near the coffee I used to, so I guess the answer to that would be probably. I used to make a big pot of coffee every day and would always drink the whole pot. That was at least 8 cups of coffee. Now I have 2, maybe 3 tops. And half of that is usually decaf. So it's just something I enjoy, and it doesn't trigger carb cravings. And that's my big test for everything. Will it trigger a craving? Will it make me have thoughts of sugar plum fairies dancing in my head? Or will I retain my food freedom and this tremendous freedom from the nagging of having to find sugar, because my brain has finally come to the conclusion that it is not in imminent danger of death tomorrow because it doesn't have enough glycogen stored up in my muscles and liver, which is the way we store sugar. And the most important point to remember at all times, when the debate of whether you should be living on sugar or fat, is that sugar is a temporary energy the body can store 1 day's supply. You are out of gas in 1 day if you cannot burn fat. Fat, on the other hand, the average human being in this country has got a year's worth stored up on their huge, obese bodies. Nature's done exactly what it's supposed to do. It has taken all the excess sugar that they've eaten and converted it to fat for the imminent famine. But yet their hormones and their pathways are so screwed up they can't burn that fat. They're still running on sugar. So their brain still thinks they're going to die tomorrow if they don't get more sugar, hence these uncontrollable urges and cravings to keep chasing sugar and never get our appetites satisfied. And we're stuck in that cycle. And the only way to break that cycle is to stop eating the sugar 100%. Stuff yourself full of meat. Never let yourself get hungry. Eat like there's no tomorrow for the first 30 or 60 days. Forget about the scale. Forget about losing weight. And let your physiology transform itself from that panic reliance on sugar every 2 hours to one of knowing you got a full gas tank. Why worry? Why panic? Why always be looking for that next gas station when you got a full tank? It's that simple. There's nothing more to it. That message is going to come out of my mouth every day. And hopefully some of the new people will hear it and say, you know, that makes a little sense to me. Yeah. The why. The why. We all know what's happening. We don't know why. I do. I know why. And it's got nothing to do with deuterium, my friend. Nothing at all. Or that other stuff I was asked about. Hey, Jemet has a question here. Does anyone know about the bird flu and killing of chickens? Well, you just go look on YouTube, and everybody's got an opinion on that. I even got sent, one of my viewers sent me a video to watch, and I started watching it. It's just same old conspiracy theory stuff. And they started likening it to what happened with the pandemic, and I don't discount any of those conspiracy theories. They always turn out to be true. Jemet says, see if Mitch sees my QQQQQ. I think I did, Jemet. I think I saw all the Qs. I'm trying, my friend, but you guys are behaving yourself. That's great. Glenn Ish, Mitch, do you think I should have candles in my steak today for my birthday because I fell off again and going to really try to get back on tomorrow? Well, that's up to you, Glenn. But isn't it amazing how we will latch on to any rationalization to fall off the wagon? Think about that. Doesn't take much, does it? Any lame excuse will do. So ask yourself, what was really going on? Why was it that after all of the hard work you do, that you allowed yourself to have what you consider a treat, and it was your birthday, so it's okay? And after you had that treat, and after you did the dirty deed, did you feel guilty? Did you feel ashamed of yourself? And how come you didn't feel that same feeling before you did the dirty deed? Could it be you actually had no conscience control whatsoever, which means you haven't kicked your addiction yet, which means that you're back to square one, basically? That's a shame. But until we understand the mechanisms at work that cause us to do what we do, the fact that we are not that smart and not in control and subject to the whims of our subconscious and the lame excuses it throws into our conscious mind, it make it okay for us to rationalize. Well, it's my birthday. I'll start again tomorrow. And that's the bane and the experience of virtually everybody in the human race right now who's trying, in one manner or another, to get their health under control. And until all of them come and watch Morning Coffee with Mitch and learn what the real cause of this shit is, and to recognize it when it happens, how to thwart it off, how to hit it off at the pass, how to call bullshit on your own brain and believe it, you'll never fix it. So start again tomorrow and tune in here every morning to get your daily fix of reality. And you'll fix it. And knowing that you have the problem is the first step. The first step. Welcome to Carbaholics Anonymous. And happy birthday. Happy birthday. And should you stick a candle in your steak? I don't know. Is it too late for that? Couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt. Okay. Terry Sue wants me to find a Greasy Spoon Diner as a backdrop for morning coffee. You know, that might be better than a coffee shop because there's much healthier food in a Greasy Spoon Diner. No doubt about that. 10:45. Wow. Look at this. These things are going to... I don't care if they go 2 hours. That's fine as long as you guys are still hanging in here with me. Where am I going? Where am I going? And I'm getting through it. And I may miss a few things. And Ellen's still hanging in there. Ellen's talking to Tanya. Hiya, Tanya. How you doing? Good to see you this morning. Deborah Wisegal's in here. How you doing? Deborah, good to see you. And Rick's prolific in the chat this morning. How you doing, Rick? How are the ducks? Annie Meg says, yes, Mitch, you got to the root cause. I'm pretty certain that I have it nailed. I've always joked, I mean, ever even since I was a kid. I've always made a joke. I would look at people and say, I'm a smart guy. I have all of the answers. I have the answers. I have the answers. The problem is nobody asks the questions. Story of my life. Story of my life. And I think I do have the answers to so many of life's mysteries. But nobody cares. What do I know? A bald-headed old fart. Who does he think he is? Does he think he's smarter than all those eminent doctors with their long white coats who learned their craft from Ellen G. White and the Seventh-day Adventist Church? How dare he, Mitch, think that he might know more than them? And if you don't think that's... It's just ask them if they know more than me. Arrogant pieces of shit, most of them. Criminals. Absolute criminals. Derelicts. Betrayers of their Hippocratic oath. With those guys, they ought to call it the hypocritical oath. They're all hypocrites, every friggin' one of them. It's amazing, isn't it, how close the word Hippocratic and hypocritic is? Yet the difference is so far. They named the oath wrong. Thou shalt be true to thy pocketbook. Damn the consequences. Who cares? Who cares? As long as I can make that Porsche payment every month. And be admired by my colleagues. I will continue to tell people they must lower their cholesterol and eat fruits, vegetables, and grains. Yes, sir, because everybody knows red meat is going to kill you and high cholesterol is going to cause heart attacks. Everybody knows that. Well, Duck, can anybody tell me why they all know that? Well, that's not important. That's settled science. Are you a denier? You must be one of those science deniers. We need to put you in jail. You're a dangerous man, Mitch, for even suggesting that we might be wrong. After all, look at the proof we have. Look at the health. Well, wait a minute. Can't go there. Can't use the health of the American public as an example of how right you've been all these years. We can't do that. Better not go down that road, because then people will say, wait a minute, time out. How do you jive the fact with all your advice? The disease rates are at astronomical pandemic levels. It doesn't make sense, Doc. It doesn't make common sense. There is no logic to be found. Your results are the opposite of what they should be. Your science is wrong. You've been misled by religious fanatics who think that meat causes masturbation in men and needs to be outlawed. Those are the root, basic, fundamental pillars on which your entire belief system is built. And you cannot admit you're wrong because your reputation, your life, and your income rely on it. And occasionally, my esteemed doctor friend, occasionally, a doctor like Ken Berry comes along, or Anthony Chafee, with a little common sense and says, wait a minute, time out. Something ain't right here. I'm practicing all the things that I preach, and I'm getting sick and fat. How could that be? All of my patients are not getting cured. I have to keep prescribing more and more drugs. Why? How could that be? It's not supposed to be that way. And they forego all of that so-called training and go on a journey of self-discovery and research, something that I have been doing for 50 plus years. And they're finally catching up to me. Can you imagine that? The doctors, some of them, are finally following in my logical footsteps. Is it arrogant of me to come on here and say, I knew that long before you did? I wrote about it 25 years ago, Doc. Go read my book. It's in there. All of this shit I'm talking about is in there. I discovered it 25 years ago. They still aren't smart enough to steal it from me, even today. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. And I mention that not because I have an ego about it, because I don't. I give away the copy of that book. I don't try to make any money on it. I don't care about money anymore. As long as I can pay my electric bill and put food on my table, fix my house and plumbing, I'm okay. I'm okay. But I can't save the world. I can't heal humanity. I'm too insignificant and unknown. And even if I was that well known, I would be attacked unmercifully, canceled, jailed probably for my radical beliefs that go against all of their settled science and corruption. It is. We're screwed. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. As a species, we're screwed. And as smart as I think I am, I don't see any way to fix it all, not without destroying it first, and that wouldn't be pleasant. Oh, my friends, I'm having a good time. I'm having a good time because I think I'm talking common sense. I think I'm talking common sense. Greg Smith thinks so too. He gives me a quack quack. Thank you. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment, Greg. How are you, Greg? Greg's a good friend of this channel. Great guy. Great guy. I don't know what to make of this one. Maybe God was knocking on your door, Mitch. Well, if God ever knocks on my door, I'll answer. I hope he looks like George Burns, though, because that's, kind of who or Morgan Freeman. I mean, when I think about what God might look like, those are the two images that come to mind: George Burns and Morgan Freeman. Show me the magic tricks. Make my hand have 7 fingers. I'd believe it. Honest to God, I would believe it, because then I would have witnessed it firsthand. I wouldn't have just heard somebody else's story. But yeah, God comes knocking on my door. I am certainly going to open the door. Anyway, Sherry Morgan, good morning, Sherry. How are you in California? Good to see you are with us. Always good to see you. Spreading the love around. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's interesting. I love reading the chat. And looking for some more questions. How am I up to? How am I doing? 11:01. I'm about 20 minutes behind. We'll go another few minutes. I don't mind going 2 hours. Glenish, you're right. Early 2 days ago, ice cream cake surprise and fell off. Mats Strulin, what is a SEK? Anyway, a super sticker. I'll show it to you here. Whoops, that's not the button. That's the button. There it is. See that yellow fruit looking thing rolling around? Thank you. 100 SEKs, whatever that is. Thank you so much, my friend. And there's a thing underneath that says, let's celebrate their 10th super on a live stream. I'll celebrate that. I will. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And let me see if anybody has bought me any coffees that I haven't thanked them for yet. Denise Kink did, Terry Girl did, and someone. Don't see the name. I am a carb addict, a year and a half in, and still figuring this carnivore thing out. Thank you for the time you spend with us fellow addicts. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. That's all I can do, is help people figure this out for themselves. And if they, like so many people who write me, God, it's so gratifying. It's so gratifying to get these emails I get from you and the comments I get from you. Mitch, you saved my life. Mitch, for the first time in 70 years, I finally have control over this. Mitch, where you been? I love that stuff. It's what I live for these days. It's what I live for. And Jerry Hall, Super Chat, we love you. We all love you, Mitch. Watch a little more South Park. Forget about all the nonsense on YouTube. I have to do that. I have to reclaim my life back from that chasm, that emotion-sucking chasm that's called YouTube. And the nonsense and bullshit and self-serving greed of most of the participants in this. Just look at the thumbnails one after another, vying. Click me, click me, click me, click me. And more and more and more of them. And the more outrageous the answer they have, the more clicks they're going to get. And generally, none of them ever live up or actually fulfill the promise of that particular thumbnail. Well, I got news for you, my friends. You're not going to see that from me. What you're going to see from me is morning coffee with Mitch. And I guarantee you, you can count on the fact that there will be coffee. That's the promise. There's going to be coffee. And there's going to be Mitch. No clickbait. Truth Teller says, SEK 100 equals $10 US. Thank you so much, my friend. Thank you so much. I should know all these different currencies, but I don't. There is Google, however, and thank you so much for looking that up for me. And 11:03, so we're about 20 minutes behind and catching up here. Oh, man, here's some questions. Look at this. 5Qs. Jemmet, what is going on with the bird flu and killing so many chickens? I love eggs, but worried there is a... Now, don't worry about your eggs are not contaminated. You cook them. You cook them, you'll be fine. You're not going to get the bird flu from an egg. They are manipulating it like they manipulate gasoline and every other price. There's still plenty of chicken to be bought. You can still find eggs. I haven't been out 2 weeks shopping because of the flu. Not the bird flu, the Mitch flu. And I still got a couple dozen eggs in the fridge, and I'm not going to panic. I will always find some eggs somewhere. And whether they may not be the best eggs, they're still eggs. They're still nutritious. And we're just going to do the best that we can do. And in a pinch, I always have backup food. I have cans of salmon and tuna. I have sardines and anchovies. I have things in the freezer, ribs, ground beef. I'm not going to starve to death. Let's see. Let me get through this. I'm having a great time today, guys. And I'm actually able to get through the chat. May take 2 hours, but I will get through it. And I do want to get to questions. And I really would love to find a way to actually queue them up somehow. Now, I know what most other channels do is they can't possibly read the chat like I try to read it or go through it all to ferret out the questions. People know when they go into these live streams that you want your questions seen. You put it on a super sticker or a super chat. So all that they have to do, and I'm going to show you something over here. If you take a look at this screen over here, I have on this screen here a summary of just those super chats. YouTube provides that with me. And that means that if you do throw a question on a super chat, I can't miss it because it's big and colorful. And that's how the YouTubers do it. And that's how they get from one question to another without having to read thousands of entries in a chat. I don't require that or even encourage people to do that. That's why I try so hard to ferret these questions out without having to make you pay for the privilege of having me see them. If you pay me anything, I want it to be out of the goodness of your heart and appreciation for what I do, not because you need to pay in order to have me see your question. So I work this hard so you don't have to pay. There's Jerry Hall's super chat. Thank you so much, Jerry. Very, very nice of you. And B81 Mac, inquiring minds want to know. SEK is a Swedish krona. Thank you. 1 equals roughly 10 cents. Thank you so much for that information. And Ivan Burkic, another Burkic here, says, good morning. Probably related to Claudia. What are the odds we have 2 Burkics in here? I saw a thing yesterday about how eggs in Mexico are cheap. And I saw a question from Mac. Here it is. I'm almost down to the bottom of the chat. B81 Mac, have you ever read the ingredients on those survival food packs? Yes, I have. Many are seed oil junk, much better off with sardines, salmon, and water. You got that right. That stuff is garbage. Shelf life of 25 years. Get it from Patriot Supply in a big 5-gallon Lowe's plastic bucket with a lid on it. And it's all kinds of different food mixes. And you're right, it is all non-perishable. Seed oils, sugars, and grains. Most of it is powder. But it will keep you alive. It is survival food. I mean, it'll keep you from dying. So, you may not be contributing to your health, but if you can put away the tuna and the sardines and eat it instead of that survival food, I think you'd be better off. I would hate to see society come to that where that's becomes our biggest problem, is the fact that there's no food in the stores anymore. I've done it, my friends. I have made it. I have made it through this entire live stream. Stayed happy. Stayed positive. No drama. Zero drama. I want to thank you all. Thank you all so much for observing the decorum, if nothing else, but for being here, for being kind to me and appreciative. And I will, to the best of my ability, always throw the same respect back at you. Honest. And that's it. I'm at the bottom of the chat. DS111. Smoothie, listen to the shepherd. Is that me? I don't, you're not sheep, guys. You're the furthest thing from sheep that I ever could imagine. You're all free thinkers, critical thinkers. Why the hell else would you listen to me? Why not all those other so-called experts out there that'll tell you which magic product to buy to fix all your problems today so you can continue to feed your addiction and yet be healthy, cure your diseases, and lose weight. But it's a pipe dream that's sold to us every day. It's fantasy. It does not exist. But it's an easy sale, isn't it? It's an easy sale. Your addiction loves it. Your addiction. Carnivore Candy, good morning to you. Hiya, Candy. Glad I got to catch you this morning, Mitch. Yes, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you did. So, my friends, let's have a little happy music. And we've been at this for 2 hours. Yes, 2 hours, got through it. No drama whatsoever. What a pleasure. What a pleasure. Question, Mitch, says Kathy. Eat meat and take a walk. Yes, and finish my coffee. Bacon and eggs await. And let me make sure that I have appropriately thanked everybody for the coffees. Yes, thank you all so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for the super chats. What else I got here while you're all saying goodbye to each other? Okay, nothing important. It was a great morning, everybody. Thank you so much. Hopefully, maybe sometime soon again, the sun will shine and I can get back outside. It was a little damp out there this morning. Terry Sue says, bye, everyone. See you in the AM. A 2-hour stream, pretty good, Mitch. Thank you. Gemmet, bye, Mitch, and Mitch Fitz. Love you. Eat the meat. Kitchen Witch Tanya. Scotty. Mike Seeley says, have a good day, y'all. Well, thanks for coming, guys. Thanks for coming. It's been great. You're all putting up the say goodbye chats there, and the music ends and with me and the chat running by. I will, of course, not disappoint you. Give you all the rest of the day off. See you tomorrow. And eat meat.